So there's one thing too that I want to touch on. I realize to a lot of people that they think I would be an awesome mom. I get asked all the time, "You don't have no kids? Why you don't have no kids?" And what I really want to say to people is that you never know by asking someone that question how that can trigger someone, because you have no idea the reason why they don't have children. They may have a medical issue that prevents them from having kids. They maybe, have lost a baby. Maybe they did get pregnant and had miscarriages and weren't able to carry babies to term. There's numerous reasons why people don't have children. Now, for myself, I don't have children because I am not going to be a single parent, period. There is nothing in me that has the desire of being a mother just, because I want to be a mom. Like, I grew up, my parents were married, but they got divorced when I was very young, and I grew up by myself, essentially. I was very isolated and around adults only, really, growing up. And I know, like, being this age, what I missed, what I feel like I missed, because I see it in my friends' families, I see it in other people I know, the whole, I never hung out with cousins, like none of that kind of stuff. So I am not knowingly going to go into a situation of getting pregnant and having a child just to see. Like, I'm not experimenting with a kid like that. Like, there's ramifications that come down the line as these kids get older from what happens to them in their childhood. Prime example. So I don't have children because I have not been, although I have only been in long-term relationships my entire adult life. I've been in a 5 series of 4-year relationships my adult life. And they just weren't relationships that were secure enough to support bringing children into the world. And so that's my reason for not having kids, like, honestly. And, I feel bad. Like, there's a part of me that feels bad because my decision denies my mother the opportunity for being a grandmother. And all of her friends have kids and grandkids. And so my mom, who's this awesome, awesome person who has so much love to give. Like, I got her a cat one time when she was like really baby crazy with me. She's an elder in the church, so she has those kids and whatnot. But I really do carry the burden of knowing that my decision denies my mother of that opportunity. Like, she already has her grandmother name picked out. I think it's Bibi. I think it's a Yiddish word. But, I really wish people would stop asking people the question, because, every time I'm asked, it triggers me because I think about my mom. And I feel like in a way it's selfish. And people are like, your mom will be there to help. But my mom is not a man. My child needs their father in their life, male energy. And I am not, it's different if we're together, married, whatever, and things don't work out. But for me, being a single woman, I am not going to just go, get a sperm donor, because nobody dates me. Like, I don't know what it is, but nobody approaches me. So I'll just put, like, I just think I'm so focused on work. Nobody approaches me. I make time for the things that I want to make time for. With that said, I'm single, and I'm not going to just, Like, I'm just not going to do that because it's too much. I don't know how you single parents do it, just being honest. I don't know. I commend every person I know who is out there co-parenting and single parents, because it is hard and it is expensive. And there is a certain freedom that you have as a single person that, like, my life is cool. You know, I get to do whatever I want. I'm not accountable to anybody. You know, I don't even know right now, like, how I could even do it by myself. Like, I'd have to have a name. I have to have support. But I find it really offensive to be always asked this question. And when you are like, no, people kind of like give you like a look like there's something wrong with you, you know, like, you know, and again, I really don't care what people think. I mean, really, I don't, in the scheme of things. But I know how thoughtful I am as a person. And so how I can respond to that is from a different space, from somebody else who really may be really a bit more emotional about it. And, you know, to constantly be asked. And I have several friends who are in my age bracket that don't have kids. You know, I have several friends, like, it's like this whole contingency of women who are like in this age bracket who've never been married, never had kids or anything like that. And part of society looks at us and sees us as a failure because we haven't achieved these notches that, you know, you're supposed to receive or do. And I'm fully aware that God provides everything, and whatever is meant for my life is gonna happen. But understand this also, everybody does not get to experience everything in life. They don't. And so I've had to sit with myself and be like, you know, if I never get married, like if no man ever chooses me, I have to be okay with that. You know, if I never have children for the same reason, I have to be okay with that. Because I refuse to sit in a space feeling like I'm not good enough or that I've been rejected. You know, but unfortunately, there's some people who don't have that same strength to do that. So every time you ask them, and it's cute sometimes, like people do it as banter, but like you need to realize how hurtful that these questions can be to somebody, because some people are just holding it on by a thread. You know, I've had friends that have confided in me, you know, like I've done, you know, I go to church, I've gone to school, I've done everything that they said I'm supposed to do. And here I am 50 years old. I've never been married. I can no longer have children. Like, what am I supposed to do with my life? And that's heartbreaking to hear somebody that you know and care about feel that way about themselves. Like they feel rejected. And like I said, I was going to I actually wrote out a whole curriculum. I was going to do a workshop on this because I think it's something that needs to be discussed, but people are so afraid to admit their truth because it's seen as weakness by others. And you have to get to the space where you just don't care what anybody else has to think and just speak your truth so that you can process it and then start to reassess and start to plan to live your life in a different way. You know, I was injured recently and it really made me think, you know, like, how is my life going to look? Suppose I never date. Not because I don't want to, but just the opportunity doesn't present itself. You know, so suppose I never have a life partner, you know, because marriage isn't for everybody. You know, I'm open to different mindsets as it comes to relationships. You know, some people don't want to get the government involved in a relationship. I respect all that. But how does my life look when I get older? You know, how do I plan? Who's going to care for me? Those are things I really have to think about, from a reality perspective. But, you know, because I don't have kids that could, you know, take care of me. And so then some people, well, why don't you just adopt? Or, you know, I have a healthy uterus. I can have a baby. You know, there's nothing wrong with me medically. You know, I have a healthy uterus. You know, I might need some medical help. You know, who knows? But people be like, you know, why don't you adopt? It goes back to the same reasoning. I am not going to be a single parent. I have no desire to raise a child on my own. None. Zero, zilch, nothing. On my mama. I am not doing it. And I have told her that. And to have to look at that heartbreak in her face was one of the most crushing things that I had to deal with, that I've had to deal with. But at the same time, I am not going to experiment with a child's life. I value that child's life too much to guess that it's going to work out. And who's to say, people are like, you're so nurturing, the way you care for people. Who says that that's going to translate to a child? I don't know. Again, I'm not going to guess. I need a man. I say that to say, because people a lot of times with women who are educated, women who have their own things, women who have been able to maneuver through life without the assistance of a man or anything, they think that, and it may be true for some, not for me, that, I don't need a man to do this. I can get no, I need male energy. Facts. Male energy. I need that. There's ways that, and it's not about material at all. I don't need a man to buy me anything. I've had more than one house, more than one car that I've all gotten on my own. So I don't need a man to do that. Now, if he wants to swirl through and elevate my situation, listen, I'm for it. If that's part of our relationship and we're building. But just in GP, hey, I need $200 to get my hair done. Nah, that's just not me. I would never use a man in that way. But there are nuances to me that men who have cared for me have absolutely hit the nail right on the head. And it's not anything I can do for myself. These are things that I need them to do. And I'm not talking about housework, fixing something, fixing cars. I know how to do all that. As a single woman, there's a point where you have to learn how to do that stuff because you may not have a man to call on to help for that. But just being a man, holding the door open, walking on the right side of the street, just giving me a comforting hug when I'm going through stuff. Not even just saying anything, just being there as a presence is everything. So, for those women who I don't need a man, more power to you. I'm not one of them. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no penis in a box. None of that. I need a real man. You know what I'm saying? And this is not me saying, putting a banner out there hey, Chi Chi needs a man. I'm not saying it like that, so please don't take it like that. But what I'm saying is, as a woman, because I feel like I'm often misunderstood, as a woman, I need a man in my life. I cannot exist without male energy, period. So, I've gone a bit off topic from my initial thing, but it all circles back. I believe in family. My family wasn't the family I would have. My family dynamic was not, one that I would want to repeat. But I know that my parents on either side did the best that they could at the time. They were young, 21, 22, Howard University, homecoming weekend. Hey, I went to an HBCU. I know it goes down. So that's my conception story. But my parents were married. Yeah, so, think about it. The next time you dare ask a woman, because you don't ask men why they don't have no kids. You really don't. Hey, son, bruh, why you don't have no kids? Nobody does that. But you ask women all the time. And then it's like you're a unicorn. You don't have no kids. Oh my God, you don't have no kids. Craziness. So I am going to post this just because I am sick and tired of people asking me, do I have kids and why I don't have them. I'm sick and tired of it. So I don't know if you'll watch this video, but I put it out in the atmosphere. Don't ask me that again. You never know what version of she you might get. And you don't want that one. So, but yes, God. Yes, God Wellness. Check her out in North Carolina.